This isn't just another tech launch. It's a thunderclap, a warning shot, and a wake-up call to the entire semiconductor world. Huawei has just pulled off what many in the West said was impossible. They unveiled a foldable PC, not just with sleek hardware or flashy design, but powered by a 5-nanometer chip built entirely in-house. No ARM, no Intel, no TSMC, no Western IP. This chip, the Kirin X90, is a declaration of independence. And this isn't a quiet rollout. This is a nationally televised, state-endorsed, high-volume product launch that's already drawn over 180,000 pre-orders in China alone. The device? The MateBook Fold, featuring the world's first seamless, foldable PC screen. But the real game-changer is inside. The Kirin X90 isn't just Huawei's next step. It's a breakaway from a Western-dominated tech order that's tried and failed to box China out. It's bold, it's disruptive, and it might just signal the start of a new era in computing, one where the old supply chain map is redrawn. In this video, we're going beyond the headlines. We'll break down the chip's architecture, how Huawei pulled off 5nm class manufacturing under sanctions, and what this means for the future of AI, geopolitics, and the global tech race. Because this isn't just about a chip. It's about power. Let's break it down. A few days ago, CCTV dropped the bombshell. Huawei's Kirin X90 chip is based on a 5-nanometer process. But what elevates this announcement beyond just another tech update is this. It was built entirely in China. No ARM license, no Intel IP, no TSMC fab line. This is monumental. Why? Because for decades, cutting-edge chip development has relied on a tightly controlled Western supply chain. The moment a company tries to deviate, they hit a wall. IP restrictions, manufacturing bottlenecks, or export bans. Huawei just smashed through that wall. This chip, the Kirin X90, isn't just for flagship phones. It's powering laptops. It's scaling across devices. Huawei confirmed it will be the beating heart of the new MateBook Fold, a revolutionary foldable PC unlike anything else on the market. Let's talk about that. Most so-called foldable PCs use twin displays with a central hinge. It's a compromise. It's not seamless. Huawei's MateBook Fold, one single flexible OLED panel. No break, no split, just fluid, uninterrupted screen space. A dream that's been elusive in the PC world until now. And here's where it gets wild. That display is being driven by the Kirin X90, a 5nm chip designed, tested, and fabricated entirely in China. This is where the global semiconductor narrative shifts. Because no other company outside the West, aside from maybe Samsung, has managed to close the loop on chip design, software, and hardware deployment at this level. Even Apple, the benchmark of vertical integration, still relies on ARM instruction sets and Taiwan-based TSMC fabs. Google's Tensor chips? ARM-based, fab by Samsung. Microsoft? Still tethered to Qualcomm and AMD. Huawei is building something different. Early rumors suggested SMIC might be fabricating the Kirin X90. That would have been impressive enough. But the latest analysis suggests Huawei is working with SI carrier multi-patterning, using deep ultraviolet lithography to push beyond the limits of 7 nanometers into 5 nanometers territory. So let's break that down. EUV, or extreme ultraviolet lithography, is the gold standard for producing 5 nanometers and below chips. It allows for precise, single-pass patterning of silicon wafers. But the only company that makes EUV machines is ASML in the Netherlands. And guess what? ASML can't sell them to China. Not because they don't want to, but because they're legally forbidden to under pressure from the US government. So what does Huawei do? They use DUV machines, which are older and less precise, and apply a method called multi-patterning, exposing the same wafer multiple times to etch the complex designs needed for modern chips. It's like painting with a toothbrush instead of spray gun. It takes longer. It's harder. But if done right, it works. And it seems they've done it right. Now, I've said before, I'm skeptical of Huawei's EUV timeline. Not because I don't think they can get there, but because timelines in this industry are almost always overly optimistic. Intel has slipped. TSMC has slipped. Even Apple has pushed back roadmaps. So if Huawei is off by a quarter or two, it's no big deal. Because the bigger point is, they're moving. And they're moving fast. Let's look at the bigger picture. Huawei isn't just shipping phones anymore. They're scaling across the entire stack, from laptops and tablets to smartwatches, smart cars, and now AI servers. Their cloud matrix chips are reportedly being used to train foundation models. They're selling to developers. They're shipping to government data centers. They're replacing NVIDIA inside China. That's not a guess. That's happening. And all of this traces back to one thing: sanctions. When the US cut Huawei off from TSMC, ARM, and key EDA tools, many expected the company to collapse. But in reality, the sanctions became a forcing function, a moment of clarity. Huawei stopped depending. They started building. Now, they're creating their own instruction sets, their own AI frameworks. Even their own Harmony OS platform is breaking free from Android's kernel. Meanwhile, in the West, Apple still pays ARM. Google still relies on Samsung. Microsoft is still on x86. Even NVIDIA, a titan of compute, relies heavily on Taiwan for its supply chain. Huawei is betting on itself, and so far, that bet is paying off. Yes, Xiaomi just launched its first in-house chip. But here's the truth: it's still based on ARM. It's still fabbed at TSMC. It's not real independence. Kirin X90 is. Let's shift to the political dimension. President Xi recently gave a speech underscoring China's need for technological sovereignty. But he also emphasized openness, win-win cooperation, and global engagement, if treated with respect. That dual message is key. China doesn't want isolation, but it won't tolerate tech colonialism. I believe that's reasonable. I've spoken to engineers, designers, and coders in Shenzhen, Hangzhou, and Beijing. They're not hostile. They're ambitious. They want competition. They want challenge. But they also want dignity. Which brings us to Washington. Trump's administration, and even Biden's continuity of those policies, have imposed some of the most aggressive tech restrictions we've ever seen. Export bans, entity lists, investment blacklists. The goal? Halt China's rise. But it hasn't worked. Even Jensen Huang, NVIDIA CEO, has openly said that these policies are backfiring. Instead of crippling China, they're encouraging it to build faster and smarter. Jensen wants competition. He wants to win in China, not by banning Huawei, but by beating them fairly. That's what real innovation is about. And you know what? Trump sometimes surprises us. He lifted sanctions on Syria, something no other US leader would have done. If anyone could pull off a diplomatic reset, it might be him. But it depends. Is he the driver, or are others steering the policy? That uncertainty could determine whether this chip war ends in cooperation or escalation. Meanwhile, on the ground, Huawei is executing. The US has threatened civil and criminal penalties for those using Huawei's Ascend AI chips. But with the Kirin X90 shipping now, those threats seem increasingly hollow. Huawei plans to produce 200,000 Kirin X90 units in the first quarter alone. Over 180,000 are already pre-ordered. That's not a test run. That's a product. Their phones are flying off shelves. Their wearables are expanding. Their laptops are entering mainstream. And their AI chips? They're running Chinese models right now. This isn't theoretical. It's operational. And no, the Kirin X90 is not some hacked-together NVIDIA clone. It has its own architecture, its own cache hierarchy, its own instruction pipeline. This is not stolen tech. This is original IP. The West needs to wake up. If we keep saying China can't innovate, we're only fooling ourselves. Because this, right here, is innovation. This is the moment the old narrative breaks. Sanctions didn't halt Chinese progress. They accelerated independence. So here's the bottom line. The Kirin X90 is real. It's 5nm class. It's not based on ARM. It's not licensed from Intel. And it's not built at TSMC. It's shipping now. It's powering the world's first true foldable PC. And it's just the beginning. By next year, Huawei may be deploying their own EUV lithography, despite all odds. You don't have to believe it. You don't have to like it. But you can't ignore it. This is the dawn of Chinese semiconductor sovereignty, and it changes everything. Is the US ready to compete? Is the world ready to accept a new tech superpower? Leave your thoughts below. Let's talk about it. And if you want the full story, not just the headlines, subscribe. Because this is only the beginning.